In the late 1960s, a chilling darkness spread across Northern California. Fear crept into quiet neighborhoods, lovers' lanes, and small towns. That fear had a name the killer gave himself. He called himself the Zodiac. The Zodiac Killer is one of the most infamous and mysterious serial killers in American history. Between 1968 and 1969, he is confirmed to have murdered at least 5 people, although he claimed to have killed as many as 37. What makes this case so terrifying is not only the brutality of the crimes, but also the mind games he played with police, the press, and the public. More than 5 decades later, his true identity remains unknown. On the night of December 20, 1968, high school students Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday parked their car along Lake Herman Road in Vallejo, California. They were on their first date, planning to watch Christmas lights, but they never made it home. A mysterious man approached their car and brutally shot them both. The case shocked the small community. Investigators had no leads, no witnesses, and no motive, just 2 young lives stolen in the night. 6 months later, on July 4, 1969, another couple, Darlene Farron and Michael Mago, was attacked while sitting in a car at Blue Rock Springs Park. The killer fired multiple shots, killing Darlene and seriously wounding Michael. Hours later, a man called the police station, confessing to both the Blue Rock Springs and Lake Herman Road murders. He ended the call with chilling words, "I want to report a double murder. If you will go 1 mile east on Columbus Parkway, you will find kids in a brown car. They have been shot by a 9mm Luger. I also killed those kids last year. Goodbye." The Zodiac had revealed himself. Just weeks later, local newspapers received handwritten letters from someone claiming to be the killer. Each letter began with the words, "This is the Zodiac speaking." The letters contained cryptic symbols and ciphers, taunting police and demanding they be printed on the front page of the papers. One cipher, known as the 408 cipher, was solved by a schoolteacher and his wife. The message revealed the killer's twisted motives. He claimed he was collecting slaves for the afterlife. However, the cipher ended with an unsolved puzzle, "My identity is," followed by 18 characters that have never been cracked. The letters brought fear to California. People were terrified to leave their homes. The Zodiac promised more killings if his letters were not published. Newspapers complied, and the mystery deepened. On September 27, 1969, the Zodiac struck again. Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard were picnicking near Lake Berryessa when a man approached them wearing a bizarre hooded costume, with a white cross circle symbol on his chest. Holding a gun, he tied them up, and then stabbed them repeatedly. Cecilia later died from her injuries. Brian survived to give police a description of the horrifying outfit. This attack shocked investigators because the killer had changed his method from shooting to stabbing. It showed planning, cruelty, and a desire to instill fear. Before leaving, the Zodiac scrawled his symbol and a message on the victim's car door, marking another taunt to the police. Just 2 weeks later, on October 11, 1969, the Zodiac killed again. This time, his victim was Paul Stein, a San Francisco taxi driver. Stein was shot in the head in the upscale Presidio Heights neighborhood. At first, police thought it was a robbery, until a letter arrived with a piece of Paul Stein's bloody shirt. The Zodiac had taken it as proof. He mocked investigators once again. What made the case more frustrating was that police officers had actually seen a man walking near the crime scene, who matched the Zodiac's description, but due to a dispatcher error, they were told to look for a black suspect instead of a white man. The Zodiac escaped right under their noses. By now, the Zodiac was a household name. Parents feared sending their children to school. One of his letters threatened to blow up a school bus and pick off the little kiddies as they come bouncing out. This terrifying threat caused widespread panic. School buses were escorted by police, and the entire Bay Area lived in constant fear. The Zodiac seemed to enjoy this fear. Each new letter taunted the authorities. He bragged about his crimes, claimed victims that were never confirmed, and continued sending unsolved ciphers. Over the years, police interviewed more than 2,500 suspects. Some names, like Arthur Lee Allen, became infamous as potential Zodiacs, but there was never enough evidence to convict anyone. The FBI got involved. Cryptographers tried to crack the ciphers, and amateur detectives spent their lives chasing the truth. Still, the Zodiac remained a shadow. Some of his letters stopped after the mid-1970s, but occasionally new theories and supposed confessions would resurface. Even in modern times, DNA technology has been used to re-examine evidence, but no conclusive identity has ever been revealed. The Zodiac Killer became more than just a criminal. He became a legend of horror, mystery, and frustration. Movies, books, and documentaries have tried to solve the puzzle, but the truth remains locked in the past. Was he a genius who outsmarted the police? Or just an ordinary man who got lucky? Was he one of the suspects already questioned? Or someone no one ever suspected at all? No one knows. More than 50 years later, the Zodiac Killer's identity is still unknown. His cryptic messages remain partly unsolved. His crimes left behind broken families, terrified cities, and one of the greatest mysteries in American criminal history. Perhaps one day technology or new evidence will finally unmask him. But until then, the Zodiac Killer will remain a ghost in the shadows of American history, feared, studied, and never forgotten. If you found this story chilling and fascinating, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below what you think. Who do you believe the Zodiac Killer really was?